You know, the beauty of these projects is that they're all interlinked and they're all connected. Why do I say this? Recently, we spoke about how acro bridges are the critical links needed to reach farmers in our most remote areas. And today, we're talking about what we're sending across those bridges, the high-performance seeds that will transform those rural fields into cash crop, literally. In Kabwe, we're looking at the Bayer Itaba seed plant, a 32 million euro statement of confidence in Zambia's soil. But before we look at the bags of seed, we have to ask, who is Bayer? Now, Bayer is not a company that is wet behind the ears. It has a 160-year legacy, from dye to science. Founded in Germany in 1863, Bayer started in dyestuffs before changing the world with aspirin in 1899. Now, it didn't stop at solving headaches. You see, they're a global life sciences leader. In Zambia, they've been active since 2016, and with the 2018 acquisition of Monsanto, they brought the world-renowned deculb hybrid maize brand into our ecosystem. And this plant in Kabwe is the culmination of a decade of boots on the ground in the SADC region. Let's talk about the government handshake here, economic diplomacy. This deal was a strategic partnership between the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Commerce. So the government's role is as follows. The state, Zambia, proved this investment by providing export incentives and policy stability. President Hichilema personally commissioned the plant in March of 2025, marking it as the second largest private investment by a German company in Zambia's entire history. By streamlining approvals and supporting infrastructure in Kabwe, the government has convinced Bayer that Zambia was the safest regional hub for their African expansion. Mind you, there were competitors lurking on the ground, and Bayer decided that because of Zambia's government's involvement in this project and the policies that they put in place, that Kabwe was the right place to put up their plant. The mathematical equation is simple. The output will triple. And that's a massive capacity jump, because the Itaba plant has tripled Bayer's capacity in Zambia, moving from just 5,000 metric tons to 16,000 metric tons of seed annually. And of course, there's a yield gap as well, because traditional seeds give farmers about 1.5 to 2.5 tons per hectare. But with the deculb hybrids from this plant, farmers are projected to hit 5 to 8 tons per hectare. That 40% increase in productivity is the difference between poverty and profitability in business. And now there's the reach as well, because this facility now produces enough seed to feed 30 million people across Sub-Saharan Africa. So we're exporting Zambian quality to our neighbors as well. We're not just focusing on the local markets, we're now also exporting to the neighbors, which means that we're becoming a food basket just because of the plant being built, or that has been built, in Kabwe. And you know, I can see through the camera, and I can see some of you sitting in your living rooms or watching your phones shivering at the thought of Monsanto, because Monsanto is known for GMOs, and that is something that needs to be addressed, because way back in 2000 Chakuti, when President Manawasa was still president, he banned the production and sale of GMO foods in Zambia. Now, what has that got to do with this Bayer plant? I'll tell you. Crucially, this plant focuses on conventional hybrids, and this is advanced selective breeding, which is not lab-engineered DNA. So it provides drought tolerance while staying 100% within Zambia's non-GMO regulations, and that is a massive win. This plant isn't just about the seeds alone. It plants so much more. For example, the jobs. It creates 80 permanent jobs and 100 seasonal jobs inside the plant. But there's an additional 15,000 seasonal on-farm jobs created through their grower network. The Bayer Itaba plant is the engine at the end of the bridge. It proves that when government and private giants align, we solve food security. And here's a question for you. Are you happy with these hybrid seeds, or do you think we should bite the bullet and allow GMO seeds? Have an Indaba in the comments below. We have the seeds and we have the bridges, but what about the water during a dry spell? In our next episode, we're switching to the Scrala solar irrigation schemes. We'll see how small-scale farmers are drought-proofing their fields. See you then, and stay tuned to Business Indaba.